I'm 28, I'm a structural engineer, and for most of my adult life, I've made a living calculating whether things can handle pressure. Floor slabs, beams, foundations, steel trusses. Sometimes an architect hands me a drawing and says, "I want it like this." And my job is to explain why "like this" will either stand for 40 years or eventually become a very expensive headline. So I'm used to noticing stress before something breaks. And somehow, I still spent almost a year unable to determine exactly what was happening between me and Emma Bennett. Not because I was blind. I saw the changes perfectly well. Her gaze lingered longer. She touched me more often. Sometimes she openly stared when she thought I wasn't paying attention. And I had definitely stopped looking at her the same way I had 5 years ago. The problem was something else. Emma had been my best friend since we were 8. 19 years. That's too valuable a thing to risk based on one look and a couple stolen hoodies. Although by then, the hoodie count was 4. Friday night was when I finally realized the pressure had reached critical levels. Emma was sitting on my couch. A movie was playing. She wasn't watching it. I noticed after about 10 minutes. After 20, it became funny. After 40, I paused the movie. She immediately said, "Why'd you stop it?" "Because you're not watching." "I am." "No." "Yes." I turned toward her. "Emma." "What?" "For the last 40 minutes, you've been looking at me." She instantly turned red. That had always been her weakness. Emma could give a presentation to a board of directors. She could argue with a man controlling a multi-million-dollar budget. She could call a vendor and calmly explain why his team would be redoing half a campaign for free. But if she became genuinely embarrassed, everything turned red. Cheeks, ears, neck. Exactly what was happening now. That's not true. It is. I was watching the TV. It's to my right. She looked at the television, then back at me. Peripheral vision. Very strong argument. She picked up her wine, took a sip. "Just play the movie." "Okay." I resumed it. We lasted about 15 seconds. "And that's it?" I paused again. "What? You're just going to keep watching the movie? You said nothing was happening. You could have asked again." I looked at her. "I did." "God, you're impossible." "Then tell me yourself." She went silent. Now it was actually interesting. Emma put her glass down, laced her fingers together. "I just lately..." Pause. I waited. "We've been spending a lot of time together." 19 years. She glared. "Don't help." "Okay." "And you..." Another pause. "Yes?" "Be quiet. I'm literally not saying anything. You have a face." "What face?" "Like you understand everything." I smiled slightly. "Maybe." "I hate you." "No." She covered her face with both hands. "This is humiliating." "Why?" "Because I can speak in front of 100 people." "I know. Last month I presented strategy to the CEO of a $4 billion company." "I know that too. I negotiate for a living." "Yes. I fired an agency over the phone without stumbling once." "I was there." She lowered her hands. "Then why can't I say one damn sentence?" I looked at her and answered completely seriously. "Because this matters more." Emma froze. She hadn't expected that. Honestly, neither had I. For several seconds we just looked at each other. Then she stood abruptly. "You know what?" "What?" "Screw it." Very informative. She walked over, fast, stopped right in front of me, put both hands on my face. I managed, "Em," and she kissed me, just like that. No additional speech, no confession. She grabbed my face and kissed me. I was surprised for approximately 1 second. Then my hand settled around her waist, and I kissed her back. The kiss was short. She pulled away, eyes huge, face bright red. "There." I stared at her. "There?" "Yes." Very clear. "Shut up." I started smiling. "Why are you so calm? What am I supposed to do?" "I don't know." "Scream?" "No." "Run away?" "Dan." "What?" She was looking at my mouth. I saw it. She realized I saw it, and instead of answering, she kissed me again, longer this time, barely pulled away. "Emma." Another kiss. I laughed into it. She moved back maybe 2 inches. "Don't laugh." "I'm trying to talk." Another kiss. "Em." Again. I gently caught both her wrists. 5 seconds. She was breathing hard. What? Is this a confession or an assault? She stared for several seconds. Then she started laughing too, closed her eyes. Both. Okay. Don't smile. Too late. I'm serious. So am I. I let go of her wrists. She stayed standing between my knees. I said, I like you too. Emma stopped laughing, completely. What? You heard me. In what way? The standard one. How long? About 10 months. Her mouth opened slightly. 10? Approximately. You've been quiet for 10 months? You couldn't say one sentence for 5 minutes. She slapped my shoulder. Traitor. Fair. 10 months, Dan. Yes. And nothing? What exactly did you want me to do? I don't know. Say something? You're my best friend. That calmed her immediately. There it was. The whole problem. I continued. I knew something between us was changing. Quietly. So did I. But you've always been close. Yeah. You've always grabbed my hand, fallen asleep on my shoulder, stolen my clothes. I don't steal. 4 hoodies. 3. 4. One was a gift. Which one? I gifted it to myself. I laughed. So did she. Then I became serious again. That's why I didn't want to take normal closeness between us and automatically decide you suddenly wanted a relationship. She looked at me. I was scared of the same thing. Exactly. Very reasonable. Terrible, actually. Yeah. Pause. Emma sat beside me, close, almost pressed against my side. So, what? Can I do that again? I smiled. Yes. She immediately kissed me, and after that, things genuinely stopped being controlled. Because the first kiss had been a confession, the second was confirmation, and then we discovered that almost a year of mutual attraction was a very poor foundation for moderation. She moved closer, then climbed into my lap. I held her around the waist. She wrapped her arms around my neck. Every time it looked like we were about to stop and say something, Emma looked at me and kissed me again. Eventually I moved her back just a little. Em? What? If we keep going... She turned red again immediately. I didn't have to finish. She understood. I know. We both understand where this is heading? Yes. You want that? She looked directly at me, didn't look away. Yes. Not because you had a horrible day. Dan. I'm asking. Her expression became serious. I wanted you long before today. Good. Very romantic. Very clear. Engineer. Exactly. We talked briefly after that. Protection, health, that either of us could stop whenever we wanted. Emma looked at me. Are you always this rational? I try not to be stupid about important things. She leaned closer. Finished? Yes. She grabbed the front of my shirt. Then please stop being rational. That was convincing. Our first night together happened that evening, not because either of us was rushing, more because we had known each other far too long and had already spent too much time postponing something obvious. The only strange part lasted the first few minutes, because this was Emma, the person I had known with braces, the girl who cried in my kitchen at 14 because she got a terrible haircut, the woman who knew exactly what I looked like with a 102-degree fever, the person who once held a bucket for me when 17-year-old me made the very poor decision to drink too much for the first time. And now we were in an entirely different situation. But somehow, knowing each other for so long didn't make it more awkward. It made it easier. We trusted each other. Neither of us had to perform. We could laugh, pause, ask. At one point, Emma literally covered her face and said, I can't believe this is you. I said, very supportive. She laughed. No, I didn't mean... Too late. Self-esteem destroyed. Come here. Why? I'm compensating. After that, things improved considerably. Later, Emma lay against my chest, quiet. I ran my hand slowly over her back. She didn't say anything for almost a minute. Then, God, what? I slept with my best friend. So did I. She lifted her head. Very funny. Thank you. Is this weird? I thought. Yes. She immediately tensed. I continued. But in a good way. She exhaled. I hate when you pause like that. Dramatic structure. You're an engineer. We also understand timing. She put her head back down. A few seconds later, she lifted herself, kissed me, lay down again. 5 seconds, kissed me again. I looked at her. You genuinely can't stop. She buried her face against my shoulder. Don't comment. I like it. She raised her head. Really? A lot. She smiled, then kissed me again. If someone had told me that would become the central joke of the next several years, I would have believed them. Because Emma really did seem determined to compensate for every month of silence through one uninterrupted campaign of kissing me. But the story was especially funny because our first meeting had involved absolutely no romance whatsoever. It involved a bicycle. I was 8. I left my bike outside a small convenience store near my house, went inside to buy a soda, came back maybe 30 seconds later. Bike gone. I looked around. A girl about my age was riding it down the sidewalk. Hey! She stopped, looked at me. What? That's my bike. I know. Then why are you riding it? Testing it. What? Seeing if it works. I ran over. Give it back. One more lap. No. She frowned. 1. It's my bike. Eventually, she got off. Very selfish. You stole it. Borrowed. Without asking. I gave it back. Because I caught you. She held out the handlebars. Emma. What? My name's Dan. She shrugged. Okay. The next day I saw her outside school. Apparently her family had moved 2 streets away. Same class. At first we argued, then started sitting together, then doing homework. Then our parents met. Within a year, nobody was surprised when one of us showed up at the other's house. She had a little bedroom with green walls. I had basketball posters. We built blanket forts, rode bikes. At 12, we tried to make money selling lemonade. Emma decided it should cost $5. I said, nobody is paying $5 for lemonade. She said, it's about positioning. What? Premium product. We made $9. 5 of those came from her mother. Emma still considers the business successful. At 14, she called me. Dan. What? I have a problem. What? My hair. What happened? I cut it. And? Pause. Badly. She came over. I looked. It's fine. She said, you're lying. A little. She cried. I gave her ice cream. A week later, it genuinely looked fine. At 16, we started dating other people, separately. There was never some dramatic teenage story where we had secretly loved each other the entire time. No. I liked Sarah from biology. Emma liked Michael from the football team. She helped me text Sarah. I helped her choose Michael's birthday gift. We went to prom with different dates, then ended the night sitting together on the school steps eating fries. Years later, Emma admitted she had wanted to kiss me for maybe 2 seconds that night. It didn't mean anything then. College put us in different cities, calls, visits. During her sophomore year, she broke up with a guy and called me at 2 in the morning. I listened for 40 minutes, then asked, you want the truth? No. Okay. She said, now I do. He wasn't right for you. I know. Then why are you crying? Because it still hurts, genius. Fair. When my serious relationship ended senior year, the process reversed. I called Emma. She said, she's an idiot. You didn't even like her. Exactly. I'm objective. That was how our friendship worked. After college, we both ended up in the same city again. I went into structural design. Emma went into marketing. We started seeing each other almost every week, and only about a year before that Friday night did things start shifting. The first moment I remember clearly happened while helping her move. Saturday. Hot. By evening, I was exhausted. She went to shower. I was assembling a bookshelf. 20 minutes later, she came out, wearing one of my old college t-shirts she had found in a box and a pair of short lounge shorts. Wet hair. She stopped. What? I realized I was staring. Nothing. You looked. I have eyes. She turned red. Pervert. I pointed at the shirt. That's mine. Not anymore. Then you created your own problem. I went back to the bookshelf. Emma stood there for several more seconds. I could see her in my peripheral vision. Then she disappeared into the kitchen. Second moment came a few months later. I stopped by after a morning run. She opened the door. You're soaked. Thank you for the observation. Why didn't you change? I was running past. You texted that the coffee machine broke. That's an emergency. I walked into the kitchen. She stared. I caught her. You're staring. No, Emma. I was looking at the clock. I looked at the wall. Empty. Turned back. She was already red. There's no clock. There used to be. Never. Shut up. I said nothing, but remembered. Then she began texting more often. You home? She'd come over. Sit closer. Once during a movie, she put her head on my shoulder, which was completely normal. But then her hand settled on mine, and stayed there. That felt different. I told Jake, friend from college. We were drinking coffee. I think I want to date Emma. He stared for 5 seconds. Finally. What does finally mean? Am I supposed to wait until I'm 40? You're 29. Emotionally, I'm 40. Don't be dramatic. You only figured this out now? No. Then? About 10 months. And you've done nothing? No. Why? Because it's Emma. Very useful explanation. If some random woman isn't interested, it's awkward for 2 days. Yeah. If I'm wrong about Emma, I potentially damage 19 years. Jake thought. Fair. Then, but she wants you. Maybe. She wears your hoodies. She's done that since 14. Okay? Exactly. She stares? Yes. Great. We've looked at each other before. He covered his face. I hate rational people. Meanwhile, as I learned later, Emma was tormenting Sophie. Sophie worked with her. I think I like Dan, Sophie asked. As a man? Maybe. You want to kiss him? Emma naturally turned red. Sophie. Oh my God. Shut up. You do. I hate you. How long? What? How long has this been going on? I don't know. Emma. 8 months. Sophie later told me at our wedding. Longest 8 months of my life. But at the time, neither of us knew what was happening on the other side. The morning after our first night together, I woke around 7. Emma was already on her side, watching me. You been awake long? A little. And you're just staring? Yes. Creepy. She immediately leaned forward, kissed me. Good morning. I smiled. There it is again. What? Nothing. She kissed me again. Emma. What? Again. Are you ever going to kiss? I laughed. She said, don't start. I didn't even finish. You have a face. What face? Counting. I'm an engineer. She put a pillow over my face. Hate you. I removed it. Breakfast. She said, Dan. What? What happens now? Good question. I sat up. Now we eat breakfast. Don't be annoying. Then we go on a date. She blinked. A date? Yes. We've known each other 19 years. We've never properly dated. She pointed toward the bed. We already... I know. And you still want a restaurant first? Especially now. She smiled. You're very weird. 7. Okay. That evening, I drove to her apartment. Even though the drive was 6 minutes, I had a key. Didn't use it. I rang the bell. She opened. Dark green dress. Hair down. I was holding flowers. She stared. Seriously? Yes. You have a key. Tonight, I knock. She took the bouquet. That's unexpectedly sweet. Don't get used to it. Her eyes narrowed. Did you just steal my line? Public domain. At the restaurant, we quickly discovered how absurd a conventional first date becomes when you've known each other for 19 years. I asked, so, hobbies? She stared. Dan, I'm respecting the format. You were physically present at my first dance lesson. Favorite food? You cook it every birthday. Siblings? You held my baby brother the day he came home from the hospital. Difficult date. She laughed, then leaned forward. You want something you don't know? Very much. I wanted to kiss you at prom. I froze. What? She immediately turned red. Not for long. What does that mean? A few seconds. Why didn't you? I liked Michael. Incredibly romantic. You asked. And after? It passed. Fantastic. She smiled. You look offended. I'll survive. I'd kiss you now. Better. She leaned across the table. Right now? I looked around. In a restaurant? Scared? No. She kissed me. Our waiter approached with water at exactly that moment. Stopped. I'll come back. Emma turned bright red. I laughed for a full minute. The next several months were almost strangely easy. We already knew each other too well for half the normal relationship stages. I didn't have to discover how she handled money. I knew. She didn't have to discover what I was like under stress. She had watched hundreds of examples. The new things were different. Apparently, Emma loved holding hands. Before dating, almost never. Now, constantly. In the car, on walks, at movies. I once asked, "You hid this for 19 years. Never had the right man. Smooth. Thank you." I also discovered I was more jealous than expected. Not dramatically, but one evening, her phone lit up. "Alex, we need to move tomorrow's meeting. Call me when you can." I asked, "Alex is the tall guy?" She slowly looked at me. "You remember him?" "Seen him twice." "Jealous?" "A little." Emma looked way too pleased. "That's adorable." "Don't enjoy it." She kissed me. Too late. "He's your coworker." "I know." "Married." "I know." "Then?" I said a little. I didn't say rational. She laughed. "Thank you for being honest." Emma got jealous less often, but much more visibly. If some woman talked to me too long at an event, Emma appeared after a couple minutes. Never interrupted, just took my hand. Later. Territory? No. Emma. Maybe. She also kept kissing me with the frequency of someone afraid access might be revoked. At Jake's party, she went to grab drinks, returned, kissed my cheek, sat. 5 minutes later, again. Jake stared. "We understand." Emma looked at him. "What?" "You're dating." "And?" "You don't have to reconfirm every 3 minutes." She turned red. I said, "Don't listen to him." Emma looked at Jake, then deliberately kissed me again. He said, "Thank you." "You're welcome." We decided to tell our parents after about 2 weeks, which was ridiculous. Our families saw each other so frequently that hiding the relationship was more work than announcing it. Sunday dinner. Emma's parents' house. My mother, Linda. My father, Tom. Her parents, Susan and Robert. We sat at the table. I planned to say something after dinner. Emma was nervous, which manifested as her gripping my hand far too tightly beneath the table. Quietly, "Relax." I am relaxed. My fingers are going numb. She loosened her grip slightly. Then Robert told a story. I made a joke. Emma automatically turned and kissed my cheek. Silence. Absolute silence. She froze. I closed my eyes. Susan said, "Wait." My mother looked at us, then literally clapped. I knew it. "Mom." Robert. "Finally." Emma immediately. "Why does everyone keep saying finally?" My father calmly said, "Because we're getting old." "That's not an answer." Mom said, "You've known each other 19 years. I said, "We've been dating 2 weeks. Administrative technicality." Robert. "Probation period is complete." Emma covered her face. "I'm never coming to family dinner again." Susan said, "You'll be here next Sunday." Yeah. Everyone laughed. After dinner, Susan caught me in the kitchen, hugged me. "I'm very happy." "Thank you. Not because we were waiting for this. Of course. She's just trusted you more than anyone since she was little." I looked at her. She smiled. "That's always mattered. To me too." Meanwhile, my mother was hugging Emma. I heard, "You were basically already a daughter." Emma nearly cried, then saw me. "Don't look. I'm not doing anything. You have a face." "What face?" "Sentimental. Terrifying." She came over, kissed me. Mom said, "Very good." We both. Mom. The first 4 months had almost no serious conflict, which made sense. We already knew how to be friends. But our first real fight revealed a problem neither of us had anticipated. Emma had an important dinner with her new boss. She had just gotten a major promotion and wanted to introduce me to part of her team. I promised to come. That afternoon, we had an emergency at work. A construction site discovered that the actual supports didn't match the old drawings. We had to recalculate part of the structure immediately. I texted Emma, "Running late. I'll try to make it by 8. Dinner started at 7. At 8, I was still at the office. I called. "Em?" "Yeah," I heard it in her voice. "I'm not going to make it." Silence. "Okay, I'm sorry." "Fine." "No, it isn't." "Dan, I'm with people. I'll call later." "Okay." I got home around 11. She was at her place. I called. No answer. Next day I drove over. She opened the door. Hey, can I come in? You have a key. I don't want to use it right now. She stepped aside. We sat. Emma said, I understand it was work, but you're angry. Yes, and you should be. She looked at me. I wanted you there. I know. You promised. I know. And I hate that I even have to say this because you didn't do it on purpose. I still let you down. She exhaled. Yeah, I nodded. I'm sorry. Pause. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes explaining why the project mattered. It doesn't make your dinner matter less. She relaxed slightly. Then suddenly her eyes filled with tears. I hadn't expected that. Em? Yesterday I wanted to call you. You could have. She gave a humorless laugh. You were the person I was angry with. I understood. Oh. Before, if I fought with a boyfriend, I called you. Yeah. Now the boyfriend is you. Silence. And I sat in the car after dinner and realized I suddenly don't have my best friends separately. There was the real issue, not dinner. I moved closer. You're scared that if the relationship goes wrong, you lose everything. She looked down. Yes. I didn't say, we'll never break up. Cheap promise. Instead, I can't promise we'll never be angry with each other. She scoffed. Very reassuring. But I can promise I won't stop being your friend every time you're angry. She looked at me. How? Call me. And say what? Something like, I need my best friend right now, not my boyfriend. She stared. That sounds stupid. Maybe. And what do? Stop defending myself and listen. Even if the problem is you? Especially. She was quiet. Okay. Want to try? You're already here. Say it. She rolled her eyes. Then quietly, I need my best friend right now. Okay. I was really hurt yesterday. I'm listening. I picked that dress specifically. Saw it in the photo. Don't interrupt. Sorry. I wanted to introduce you. Yeah. And everyone kept asking where you were. I stayed quiet. She told me everything. I listened, then hugged her. That strange rule actually worked. Not always, but it became ours. 6 months later, she walked into my place. I need my best friend. I immediately said, what happened? They offered me senior brand manager. Don't congratulate me yet. She sat. I don't think I can do it. Why? It's a national account, twice the team, budget. Emma. What? At 10, you organized the school fair because the adults forgot to order tables. She stared. That doesn't count. At 16, you raised money for the volleyball team. Dan. At 23, you saved a presentation when your director got sick. You remember all that? Of course. She went quiet. I continued. I'm not saying it'll be easy. I'm saying the theory that you somehow accidentally reached this position and fooled everyone isn't supported by evidence. You're applying structural engineering logic to my anxiety. Yes, she smiled. It works. Take time. Think. You think I can do it? Yes. She leaned over, kissed me. Then again. I said, is this gratitude? Kiss. Partially. She took the role. Did extremely well. A year later, she couldn't believe she had been that scared. I had a career decision too. Another engineering firm offered me almost 30% more. Major projects. But travel 3 weeks a month. I got the offer. Emma read it. That's a lot of money. Yeah. You want it? The projects are interesting. That isn't an answer. I looked at her. I don't know. Immediately. Don't turn it down because of me. I didn't say, Dan. If I turn it down, it won't be because of you. Then why? I'm not sure I want to live in airports. What about your career? Career is part of a life. She went quiet. I said, I want interesting work, but I also want Sundays at home, dinner with our parents sometimes, waking up in my own bed. She smiled. With me? Sometimes. Very romantic. Most of the time. Better. In the end, I used the offer to negotiate with my current company, got a promotion and a better project without constant travel. Not the maximum salary, but the better life for me. That mattered. We didn't turn our relationship into the reason to give everything else up. We simply started considering not only career ladders, but what kind of life we wanted. About a year into dating, we visited our parents, walked through our old neighborhood, past the school, past the convenience store. Emma stopped. Here. I looked. What? The bicycle. You stole it. Borrowed. For 2 hours. Returned it. After your mother forced you. Details. We kept walking. She said, "It's weird." What? Now all the old memories look like backstory. I thought about it. I don't think so. Why? They were just our life. She looked at me. Yeah. We weren't secretly in love at 8, thank God. Or 15. I liked Michael. Don't remind me. You're jealous of someone I haven't seen in 10 years. A little. She laughed. That's the point. The friendship wasn't waiting. It was friendship. Emma took my hand. And then? Then you started staring at me after my runs. Immediately. The clock. There was no clock. Shut up. We moved in together after about 1 year and 3 months. Although it was mostly an official merger of assets. Half her things were already at mine. Half mine were at hers. Moving day, I opened my closet. Emma. What? There are 7 dresses in here. 5. I can see 7. 2 are temporary. They've been here 4 months. Very temporary. I pointed toward the bathroom. Cosmetics. Normal. Kitchen. What about it? You have your own shelf. So moving is economically efficient. Asset consolidation? She smiled. Exactly. That first official evening, she walked around the apartment. This is my home now. You were already entering without knocking. Now legally. Dangerous. She walked over, kissed me. Too late. Living together was almost comically natural. We already knew who left cups out, who forgot milk, who liked a colder bedroom. The only new part was that Emma could now distract me much more effectively. I'm cooking pasta. She comes up behind me, hugs me, kisses my neck. Em. What? I turn. She kisses me. Pasta. Again. It'll burn. Let it. You'll complain. Kiss. We'll order pizza. I turned off the stove. Convincing. Mornings were the same. I put on my jacket. Bye. She kisses me. Bye. I take 2 steps. Dan. What? I go back. She kisses me again. What? Nothing. Okay. I start leaving. She grabs my tie. 3rd kiss. Emma. What? I have a meeting. 5 seconds. I look at my watch. That was 40. Don't count. Professional habit. You're not an accountant. Engineers count too. 2.5 years later, I bought a ring. Spent a while deciding where to propose. Restaurant? No. Public location? Definitely not. Emma hated being the center of attention for something that personal, despite her profession. Then I remembered the bicycle. I found an old photo at Mom's. We were 8, Emma and me, standing beside that same bike. I looked furious. She looked like a criminal who had escaped prosecution. Perfect. That weekend we visited our parents. After dinner, I said, "Let's go walk." Emma. Where? Just around. Suspicious. You've known me 20 years. You should be used to me. That's why it's suspicious. We walked through the old streets. I stopped outside the convenience store. She immediately said, "No." What? The bike again? Yes. I pulled out the photo. She took it. Started laughing. Oh my God. First day. I was adorable. You stole my bicycle. Borrowed. Are we doing this again? Historical accuracy. She looked at the picture, then at me. Why did you bring this? I said, because that day you took my bike for about 2 hours. And returned it. Yes. Pause. Then you took almost 20 years of my life. She froze. Dan. I went down on one knee. She immediately covered her mouth. Her eyes filled. No. Terrible reaction. Not like that. I took out the ring. Emma Bennett. She was already laughing and crying. You've been my best friend for most of my life. Friend? Best female friend. Thank you. And for the last few years, you've also become the person I want everything else with. I held up the ring. So this part, you don't have to return. She gave a broken laugh. That's terrible. What? That's actually a really good speech. Professionally prepared. Dan. Will you marry me? Yes. I smiled. Yes? She launched herself at me before I even stood, kissed me. Then again. I laughed. Kiss. The ring. Again. I need to. Again. You still can't stop. She was crying and laughing at the same time. Shut up. Hand. She gave it to me. I finally put the ring on. She looked at it for 1 second, then kissed me again. Beautiful. Thanks. You picked it yourself? Sophie helped with the size. Emma instantly. Sophie knew? Yes. Traitor. 15 minutes later, we walked into her parents' house. Susan saw the ring. Finally. Emma. Mom! I laughed. You're allowed to say it now. My father looked at Robert. I said before 30. I stopped. No. Emma. What? Robert sighed. Nothing. You bet on this? Mom said, a little. Emma stared. Everyone around us bets on our relationship. Dad. Not everyone. Who else? Silence. She covered her face. I hate this family. Susan asked. Which one now? Emma looked up, then started laughing. We got married 11 months later. About 100 people. Warm. Family heavy. Nothing enormous. Although Emma promised 3 separate times. I am not running my own wedding like a work project. She broke that promise 3 separate times. I once saw a spreadsheet. What is that? She closed the laptop. Nothing. I saw 15 tabs. Normal. Color coding. Efficiency. You said you were relaxing. This is relaxing. I'm afraid to imagine work. At the wedding, we had a table filled with old photographs. Us at 8, 12, 16. Prom. College. Family holidays. That was my favorite part, because the photos didn't tell the story. 2 people spent 20 years failing to realize they were in love. No. They showed a real friendship. Children, teenagers, college students, adults. 2 people who first simply grew up together. And then one day, started seeing each other differently. When Emma walked toward me, I unexpectedly pictured her at 8 years old on my bicycle. Very strange path. She reached me, whispered, "Are you crying?" No. Your eyes. Allergies. To me? Possibly. She smiled. Too late. At the reception, Jake gave a speech. Most couples have one first kiss. I immediately said, "Don't." He lifted a hand. I'm not saying anything bad. Emma was already red. Jake. From what I understand, Emma's first kiss was approximately 7 separate attempts. Everyone laughed. She said, 6. I said, 7. She turned. You're doing this now? I counted. Engineer. Jake said, see, even now. Emma looked at me, then kissed me right there at the table. Jake. Exhibit A. Several years have passed since the wedding. Career-wise, things continued moving. Emma became a brand director, managed a large team. I became lead structural engineer on several major projects. We bought a house. Nothing enormous. Normal. Small workshop for me, office for her. When we signed the mortgage, Emma said, "This is weird." What? We own a house together. You understood why we were at the closing office, right? Don't ruin the moment. Okay. We still have the rule. I need my best friend. One evening, Emma came home, dropped her bag. Dan. Yeah? I need my best friend. I immediately put my laptop down. What happened? Work is awful. Advice? No. Okay. She sat, told me everything. I listened. Then she asked, now boyfriend can give opinion. Husband. Don't be smug. Okay? And I gave my opinion. Sometimes I use it too. What? I need my best friend. She immediately sits beside me. Talk. That's probably the clearest proof that our early fear never came true. We didn't lose the friendship when we became a couple. We just learned to deliberately return to it sometimes. Not every disagreement has to be husband versus wife. Sometimes the person sitting across from you is still the 8-year-old kid who has known you almost your entire life. And yes, Emma still hasn't learned to control the kissing. Morning. I'm getting ready for work. She's sitting on the kitchen island. Bye. I walk over. She kisses me. Bye. I take 2 steps. Dan. What? I go back. She kisses me again. What? Nothing. Okay. I leave. She grabs my tie. 3rd kiss. Emma. What? I'm going to be late. You're never late. Today I will be. 5 seconds. Your 5 seconds are legally different from normal ones. She laughs. Don't dramatize. Already 2 minutes. She kisses me again. I genuinely showed up 4 minutes late to a meeting once. A coworker asked, "Traffic?" I said, "Family circumstances." Technically true. One evening we were sitting on the couch. Emma had her head in my lap. I was reading. She asked, "Do you regret it?" "What?" "That night." "Which one?" "Don't be annoying." "The night you attacked me?" "Immediately." "It was a confession." "You called it both." I was emotional. Strong defense. She sat up. "Seriously." I closed the book. "No." "At all?" "At all." "Even when I kissed you 6 times in a row?" 7. 6. I counted. "You could have counted wrong." "Highly unlikely." Her eyes narrowed. "Then 8, and she kissed me." I laughed. "See? What?" "Nothing changed." She smiled. "A lot changed." Looked at her ring. Then at me. "But that didn't," and kissed me again. People like talking about the friend zone, as though friendship between a man and a woman is some kind of waiting room. As if someone is always waiting for a promotion into a real relationship. That wasn't us. The 19 years before our first kiss weren't wasted time. I wasn't sitting there at 13 waiting for Emma to realize I was the love of her life. Neither was she. We were friends. Actually friends. She had relationships. So did I. We grew up, made mistakes, changed jobs, moved, loved other people, supported each other. Then at some point we became adults and started noticing something that genuinely hadn't existed before. Her hand began lingering on mine. I started looking too long when she came out wearing my shirt. A normal compliment suddenly made her blush. A man I previously didn't care about suddenly made me jealous. Friendship wasn't the obstacle. It just made us more cautious. Because when someone means nothing to you, risking rejection is easy. When they're one of the most important people in your life, you start demanding more evidence. Maybe we would have continued being careful for another few months. Maybe I eventually would have asked her on a date. Maybe she eventually would have finished her sentence. We'll never know. Because one evening, Emma sat on my couch and spent 40 minutes watching me instead of the movie. I asked what was happening. She tried to explain. Couldn't. Turned red. Got angry. Stood up. Said, "Screw it." Walked over, grabbed my face, and kissed me. Then again, and again, and again. Until I finally caught her wrists and asked, "Is this a confession or an assault?" She answered, "Both." Years later, I still think that might be the most accurate description of Emma Bennett, or Emma Carter now. She still attacks me sometimes, usually in the morning. I put on my coat. I need to go. She comes over, kisses me. "Bye. Bye." I open the door. She grabs my sleeve. "Wait." "What?" "Kiss." I smile. "Again?" "Last one." Another. "That's the second last one. Now definitely. Third." "Emma." She's already laughing. "What? You genuinely never learned how to stop." She puts her arms around my neck. "And you've never seriously asked me to." I think about it. Fair. I close the door, kiss her myself. She looks very satisfied. "Now you're going to be late." 2 minutes. Worth it? I look at the woman who stole my bicycle at 8, half my hoodies in my 20s, my first kiss at 28, and eventually my last name. "Yes." She smiles. "Good answer," and kisses me again.
40 minutes through a movie, you were watching me instead. I asked what you were thinking, you turned completely red. Tried to say it, couldn't say it, then stood up and crossed the room. Grabbed my face and kissed me once, then twice before I even moved. 19 years of knowing you, and still we missed the signs, till you got tired of waiting and finally crossed the line. You never learned to stop. One kiss became another. Best friends all our lives. stop, and I never asked you to. We learned how to fight differently, how to say I need my friend, how to stay beside each other even when the boyfriend part gets mad. From old streets to our first home, from childhood photographs to rings. Funny how the girl who stole my bicycle ended up stealing everything. Back where we first met, I got down beside that road, held up a ring and told you, this one you don't have to give back. You laughed through tears, then kissed me before I could stand. You never learned to stop. One kiss became forever. 19 years beside you, and somehow it keeps getting better. You stole my bike at 8, my hoodies when we grew up, my first kiss at 28, and eventually my last name too. You never learned to stop, and I never wanted you to. Last one. You said that twice. Now definitely. Emma.